Good morning, everybody. It's the 17th of May, and this morning I'd like to do the G10 FX review. There's been quite some price action in the market, and we'll be looking at the G10 currency pairs. There's the usual disclaimer. This is just pure technical analysis research being provided, and no buy and sell recommendations. It's not investment advice. Currency pairs we'll be looking at today is the G10 FX, main major currency pairs and the cross rates. So diving straight into the pro real-time platform, and we'll start with the Australian US dollar. Yeah, we can see we've had a nice little rebound here from old support levels. The upside potential here is back to the bottom end of the cloud chart shadow here. This resistance level of 74.50 is a key resistance zone. And we take note of that level because this is where that rally could first find its first kind of resistance zone that it can hit. If we look at the weekly, we can see it did rebound from the bottom end of the cloud support here at 73.31. So that was a good support zone. But there is still some downside risk towards this level. It can retest that level. Upside potential is to the top end of this cloud chart shadow here at 74.93. That's the next key resistance zone, and that corresponds well with the cloud here, 74.93, yeah, so up here, this cloud chart resistance zone there. So we've just had a MACD buy signal, so it'll be interesting to see if this momentum will be maintained to the upside. So the short-term trading up, swing trade potential back up to the bottom end of the cloud in the Australian US dollar. The Euro US dollar, wow, what a nice little rally. Bit of whiplash here with a MACD sell and then a MACD buy again. We are fighting a resistance here at 110 and 111. And if we go to the weekly chart, we'll see where that comes from. Critical, we broke through the bottom end of the cloud here at 1.1074. It's currently testing another resistance level here at 111.16. And then a major resistance zone will be at 112.56. So it's pretty strong price action here. We need to see follow through of this breakout to see if it's going to retest the 110.68 for support. Could see a pullback there. And if it rebounds from there, then it could continue higher. But it's at a critical level where either this resistance is going to hold and is going to come back to retest that. And if we look at the daily just to see what the signal is like, just add more price data here. Hold on. There we go. Oh, no. Programs and computers a bit slower. We can see this resistance zone here at 111.58 is also a major cloud chart resistance zone. So we could see this rally kind of meeting its match here in and around these 111, just below 112 level. So it's at a critical area. So there's a bit of whiplash. The initial trade from the cloud chart rebound was successful. This short here was caught out with the swing to the upside, and the next area I'll be looking at shorting is in around these this resistance zone, currently very close to it. Slightly indecisive candle there, so we could see a bit of a retracement there and a pullback. Okay. GDP US dollar now sitting just below the support of September. September lows is now the new resistance zone. It's also corresponding well with the front end cloud. So there's downside risk towards the top end of the cloud here in terms of a little bit of weakness back down to 128. So there's a good 133 points drop potential back down to the top end of the cloud as the first stop. We've had a MACD sell here. So it's going to be interesting to see if this short position will stay in the money. Okay. Looking at the weekly, you can see here this cloud section here is a significant resistance zone. A line in the sand for sterling is 132.40 zone. So that's a major resistance zone, but it's not been able to grind into the cloud much further. So it looks like the bottom support levels here is now being tested to see if that's going to hold, but this bottom end of the cloud here remain a key resistance zone from a weekly cloud chart perspective. So watching very closely to see if we'll see a MACD sell signal within this weekly cloud chart resistance test. Okay. New Zealand, US dollar. Lost support at the bottom in the cloud. Further downside target here would be 67.06. So watching closely to see if that's going to, if we're going to get there. We've had a MACD sell on a weekly basis back there. So this weekly trade is still working out. On a daily chart from the New Zealand US dollar, we had a slight rebound from old support levels. Resistance at the bottom in the cloud here. Watching very closely to see if we get a short-term MACD buy signal come through. But overall, the trend is still looking rather weak, with the front end of the cloud still indicate that we could see more downside. Short-term trade potential is a swing trade back up to the bottom end of the cloud here, but overall, you're trading counter trend, so the trend is still down. All right, now we're going to the US dollar CAD. Pulling back after a nice little rally, top end of the cloud as a key support zone is currently testing the front end of the cloud support zone. This level here, the bottom end of the cloud here, is also a major support zone. So watching to see it's dipping back into these old highs area to see if that's going to come in as support, and watching very closely for potential rebound at 132, 135.32. Okay, we can see 135.32, this area here. So this there's a cluster of support lines in and around the top end of the cloud here, so we could see support come in there. MACD sell remain valid, and we're going to look at the weekly. And we are testing this top end of the cloud here for support to see if support's going to hold on the weekly cloud. So far so good. Bottom end of the cloud is a nice buy signal. Top end of the cloud could be a profit-taking signal, and major resistance here at 139.60. But currently testing the top end of the weekly cloud chart for support. If support fails, we're going to go back down to the bottom end of the cloud to test there for support. Okay. US dollar Swiss franc, really strong reversal. Since the previous week's rally, we're back down testing the bottom end of the cloud for support. You can see these support levels is very closely to the old highs. Yes, we're back down to the support low of March, end of March, and the highs that we had here in June, July, and then again October, and then again in May. So bottom end of the cloud, just testing for support to see if support's going to hold from a weekly cloud chart perspective. Could see a rebound here, provided we get a nice MACD buy signal in around these levels. So we'll be buying support here, watching closely to see if support's going to come in at, let's say, 79.82, this zone here, or 98.00. Could be a nice entry point for a short-term swing trade to the upside, provided support holds. Now, from a daily, the Swiss franc on a daily cloud chart, we can see here we are really testing these old lows of March, and we could see a potential rebound for a short-term trade back up to the bottom end of the cloud at 99.94. So there's a short-term swing trade in that trade. Okay. US dollar Danish krone also looking weak. Gap below the cloud, still grinding lower. And the target here is 6.672 as the next key support zone. And we're looking for the weekly chart. Yeah, right there, fighting for support at the bottom in the cloud. Lost support there, and it's now going to look at these lows here. Bottom in the cloud is the next key support zone. So watching closely to see if these levels will come in for a potential rebound. But we've had a MACD sell here, so we remain short until we get to those key levels on the weekly cloud. US dollar Japanese yen rebounded from support within the cloud. This was the front cloud support level that it rebounded from. Broke past the cloud at the top end of the cloud, rallied higher, and there's old resistance levels here is coming back into play. So we'll see if this rally will be able to maintain this momentum to the upside. Watching very closely to see if we get a MACD buy signal in around these cloud chart support levels. Front end of the cloud is still somewhat positive. So these 121.25 and 11.15 is major support levels, and these can be nice areas for an entry for a swing trade to the upside, provided we get that MACD buy. Watching closely here, we had a nice little rally here. MACD paid us well up here. Pulling back, testing support at the top end of the cloud, watching very closely for this level here at 111.81. And this low here at 112.19. So that could be a nice entry point for a swing trade. It's completing somewhat of a 50% of a 30 Fibonacci retracement here. And this cloud level here at 111.85 is really a major cloud support level. So look at potential entry point of that at that area if you're not in it yet. Watching closely for a definite MACD sell. We'll see if that's going to come into play, or we're just going to have a continuation of this pattern. But looks like today support is coming in and around those levels. US dollar NOK. Lost support at the top in the cloud. Couple of down days. Now looking for support to come in at the bottom in the cloud, 8.4260. And if we look at the weekly cloud just to see where we're going over there. Testing support at the top in the cloud, absolutely a critical level for support to come in. Fail that, we're looking at 8.3364. Bottom end of the front cloud here is the next key support level, but these lows here, watch very closely for these lows here. There's a couple of weeks lows at 8.4240 where we could see support come in, but we need a successful retest of this cloud chart level here at the top end of the cloud. Note that we have had a MACD sell here, so we could see further downside, potential downside on the weekly cloud is 8.350. And then just back to the daily, just to cross-reference that. It's the absolutely at a critical level to see if support's going to come in and around these levels, 8.424 and then 8.400. So watch that level very closely to see if it's going to come in play there. Okay, but watch out. We've had a MACD sell, so there's still more downside, a couple of points more to squeeze out of this when we're looking for a potential rebound at the bottom end of the cloud. US dollar Swedish krona, similar situation. We're testing multi-month lows here, looking for support in around these levels. Bottom in the cloud, yeah, these levels here. And if I go to the weekly, we'll just kind of see where we are there. Yeah, very interesting. The weekly chart is a bit more interesting than the daily, where we have the front end of the cloud at 8.675 as a key support zone, and this low here of January is also low being tested. So we could see it retest a rebound from these levels in around this 874 and 875, 866. So watching very closely to see if support's going to come in around that level. Okay. Yeah, just probably the most interesting trade at this point is what to do with the euro, and watching out. We're very close to major resistance levels, and we could see a bit of a consolidation in around these levels with a slight pullback back down to the 110, 109 level, as these are major resistance zones. Okay, until next time, happy trading.